Welcome to the Inside Out podcast. I'm your host, Jojo, and this is where we will navigate the mess together. That is mental, emotional, and spiritual. Let's get messy. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Inside Out. This is a very special episode because Inside Out is a year old. And I just wanted to start by thanking you guys, the friends that are listening, the strangers that are listening, the people that are supporting this podcast, supporting me, going on this journey with me, but also your own journey, your own messy journey, and really discovering what alignment truly means for you. And this has been such a pivotal year just in my own life. And that's what I wanted to discuss, how the mental, emotional, and spiritual framework and how living that all the time is really creating this essential glow up. And it's not the glow up of like the external, it's a real internal aligned glow up of like, I'm truly stepping into, and I hope you guys are too, of what really matters for you and for your future, the people that you surround yourself with, and the vocation that you are pursuing, the dreams that you're building, and the purpose that is unfolding for you. Now, glow-ups aren't external. Like I said, they're mental, they're emotional, and they're spiritual, but we don't really know what that looks like unless we break it down. So mentally, your mind is the command center. The story you tell yourself becomes your life, right? So I want us to reflect on this. My mental question to you is, what thought pattern did you outgrow this year? And who did you become because of it? So I'm going to answer a few of these reflection points I'm going to interview myself, I guess. But a lot of beliefs were let go of this year. The belief that I'm not enough, that I need other people in order to make certain things happen. And one of the biggest ones was I didn't really believe in myself, that I had the tools and the capability to really make huge change. And I did. I stepped into podcasting, which I had known nothing about before. And I stepped into aviation, which is a complete 180 from anything I've ever done. And it's opening doors that I could have only ever dreamed of, and I didn't even know were there, to be honest. But that has created such a mindset shift in terms of my self-worth. And my boundaries, even with myself, have gotten a lot clearer. I'm not comparing myself to the world around me. I've also more or less stepped away from social media. I've always been, like touch and go with it. But at least since July, I've really kind of curbed that whole part. And I think that has ultimately just transformed the way I even talk to myself, how I show up for myself daily. And again, I used to think like there were certain things I couldn't do, certain things I couldn't achieve. So I want you guys to really look inward and see if there's any place in your life over the past year that you have shifted or outgrown a pattern. Emotionally, we're getting messy. Emotional regulation is also part of the real internal glow up. And when we stop outsourcing validation and outsourcing anything from the external world, peace starts to prevail. And we start actually embodying peace, and we're able to exude and be completely different. So this year, I want you to ask yourself where you finally stopped abandoning yourself emotionally. Were there relationships that you stepped away from? Were there people that you drew firm boundaries with? Were there feelings that you finally faced head on? Were there people that you said, I can't be in your life anymore? Were there conversations that were hard in the moment, but ultimately set you free because you started to choose yourself? Those are all healthy emotional boundaries that we need to set with ourselves. And it starts with us. We all know that. But our emotional well-being is so important. And what we feed our mind, our emotions with, again, it becomes our reality. I think the ways that I stopped self-abandoning were in the ways that I just started saying yes to me and stopped relying on my friends, people around me, anybody to do what I wanted to do. And again, like I said, I made some pretty big changes, some pretty scary steps, and that has resulted in massive change, which now the ball's rolling, even more change needs to happen. For instance, my living situation needs to change, and it will. But because now I'm on this complete rewiring and reprogramming of my internal world, it is completely shifting my external. And that's the point, you guys, because if we're staying the same is stuck, the stagnation keeps us small, and well, staying the same is not transforming, and that's death, in my opinion. So where are you emotionally still hitting that wall? Where are you not changing? Where are you not like really leveling up in your life where you know you need to? It could be in partnership. It could be in a job situation. It could be in your living situation. It could be with anything, but where do you really need to start honoring whatever that healing is that needs to happen? And spiritually, really returning to alignment. How did you become more you this year? Not in a performance way, in a real, I'm finally listening to myself, to my soul kind of way. For me, my spiritual connection has deepened with Kabbalah. I'm craving it more. I made a switch in my teachers. I'm getting more honest and vulnerable with how things are aligning or not aligning with me in that. And also, I'm not afraid to have the tough conversations and say this doesn't work for me or tell someone how I feel. And I think that's all about really embodying and trusting yourself that you have the answers and that you don't need to, again, outsource them. And I think alignment really means something different to me now than it did a year ago. Alignment last year was kind of ambiguous. And now it's not just, oh, I'm in alignment because I'm doing this. It's all of these areas in my life are funneling to create a path forward that actually makes sense to who I'm becoming. And I think the tough thing about even having these conversations weekly is the mirror that it holds to myself and the accountability I have to have. But also, I will say it's probably holding a lot of you accountable, making you make some tough decisions and making some changes. Because my friends, this is collective. It's collective healing. And I might be the one that's like sparking the insight of the conversation, but you guys are doing the work as well. It's not just me. And that's why after a year, I'm asking these questions, because how far have you really come? Sometimes we're just so busy in the monotony and the forward motion of life that we don't even stop and go, wow, a year ago I was in a completely different place and I wasn't happy. A year ago? Oh my gosh, a year ago, November 4th, 2024. Well, a lot of you didn't even know Inside Out was a thing. I was secretly behind the scenes working on it. And I was really scared to put myself out there and to say how I truly felt. And that wasn't just because of having a microphone, but it was also in other areas of my life where I was scared to tell people how I felt in any situation, or just, again, laying down a boundary or standing up for myself or believing in myself. Big theme, big year theme. But now, if I hadn't made those changes, well, it's hard to say, but I would not be anywhere close to where I am now. And finding that alignment and really realizing, oh, I have the ability to make changes. And while they're going to be hard and challenging and transformative, they're going to be necessary for, again, who I am becoming. Because I always believed that the only constant is change. And if you're not constantly changing, growing, and evolving, then what is the point? So to answer that question, for me personally, I think how I became more me is I cut out the comparison. I cut out the noise. I cut out being scared of people's reactions or what they were going to think. And I just started embodying my strength and going after what I truly wanted without looking at it from the lens of, are they going to judge me? Are they going to think anything less of me? Are they going to not respect me? Are they going to think I'm too much? Forget too much. Who cares? Be you. Own it. And be as magnetic and as deep and as passionate and I think that's also, to that point, that's what I've become. I've always been that way, but I've stepped into it more where it's like, I'm very passionate. I'm very deep. but I'm letting that sort of overflow, and I'm not scared to let people see that anymore where I was before, but it is attracting the right people. I have a lot of friends that really love and respect that and appreciate that about me and say that's one of their favorite things about me, whereas before I was almost embarrassed by it. So that's actually bringing people closer to me rather than repelling them. And I think the main key here is that over the past year, I've taken off the mask, that ego mask of what I think everyone else wants me to be. And I started by actually going back to my essence, by returning home to who I really am and always was. And that has been through removing all of those blocks of limiting beliefs and competing desire gridlocks and getting really honest about the things that we don't want to get honest about and really reflect in order to grow. If this year has taught me anything, it's that alignment is way louder than aesthetics. And the more you live truthfully from within, it truly, 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 and I sorry for all of the cliches here, but it does ripple out. What happens inside becomes what's on your outside. And when you get messy, when you address the mental, emotional, and spiritual foundations of whatever that topic is, that's where real change exists. So you guys, thank you so much. Seriously, for this past year, for the support, for the shares, for the community. And I'm so excited for where this is going to go and for the deeper conversations and self-reflections that we're going to have and the different areas and topics that we're going to discuss and how that's really going to help us all again collectively. So as we step into the second year of this community, maybe choose an area every week that you want to really commit to, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, whatever that topic is. And maybe it's just aside from whatever topic we speak about, but an area in your life that you want to give more attention to. And remember, this is all energy. The real glow up isn't external. It's not physical. It's an energetic vibration that ripples out in mental clarity, emotional groundedness, and spiritual alignment. So thank you for this past year. Thank you for getting messy. Thank you for doing the work, for going inside out on yourself, for sharing this, for all of the things. Seriously, I can't thank you guys enough. Otherwise, it would just be me talking to myself in a room somewhere. And as always, you know where to find me on Substack. Everything's linked in the show notes. I'm so excited to continue to grow and to share more, to get more vulnerable, to bring on more people, to have different conversations with, and to really break open the parts of our life that are scary to talk about, that are vulnerable to talk about, but that need to be talked about. So take this week, really reflect on this past year and how you want the following year to either be or be different. And with that, have a great week, guys. Bye.